Welcome to Daily Success. Listen in on these personal conversations with today's leaders, innovators, and influencers as they discuss daily success principles, systems, and solutions. Get ready for Daily Success. Now, here's your host.
Hi, everyone. This is Tammy Patzer, and we are moving right along with our Daily Success Evergreen giveaway. And I'm really excited because many of you may not know, but I hand selected every single person I invited to Daily Success because I wanted to make sure that everything in my Daily Success Evergreen giveaway had great value, way beyond anything that you could ever imagine. So today's guest is Mark Porteous. And Mark is somebody that it was that a divine meeting is the only way that I can describe it, because I wasn't looking for anyone like Mark, but Mark showed up when I needed him most. But Mark helps transformational leaders amplify their visibility and influence through soulful collaborations with aligned affiliates. So he is the ideal person for you if you're a heart-centered entrepreneur who really wants to start making some money. Let's just put it into English there. So I want to tell you a little bit more about him. Mark Porteous is known as the Soul Connector, and he's the founder of the Inspired Messengers Network, and he helps mission-driven entrepreneurs to make their soul connections, people like me and people like you, so that they can impact and change the world, scale their businesses, and of course, enjoy that thrilling soul success and to be in flow. So with that, I'm going to just say, welcome, Mark, and then I have a few questions for you related to your Daily Success giveaway. So welcome, Mark.
Hi, Tammy. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm great, and I'm really excited about your Daily Success giveaway because it's called Aligning Your Divine Purpose, Discover Who You Really Are with the Core Values Index Assessment. So that's a long title, but can you tell me more about what this core values assessment is and why it's different than other assessments out there?
Absolutely. And yes, I appreciate it. It is a long title for a gift. I wanted to share what it does, and that the idea of being in alignment is so important to me. And that is part of the answer to your question, what makes it different. And it is the tool itself, the Core Values Index, that I use to help create that alignment. And most assessments, most personality assessments are measuring what you think you want to be perceived as. So if you're taking a DISC test or Myers-Briggs or StrengthsFinder, you're going to answer the questions in a way that makes you look the way that the person giving you the test wants the answers to read. So in other words, if you're taking an assessment for a position as a sales rep, you're going to be much more aggressive with your answers, or at least assertive with your answers, than you would be if you were in like customer service or if you were in upper management. So you change the way that you want to be perceived. The Core Values Index is designed in a way that it cuts through your adapted behavior to go right to your innate, unchanging core energies. There are 4 core energies. That's power, love, wisdom, and knowledge. And you can only be in any one of these energies at a time. So this assessment helps you to measure your natural level of each of those by picking different word choices. It's a 10-minute, very quick assessment. But again, unlike anything else, there's an algorithm here that makes it so that you don't see one word as being better or worse than the other. You just know which one is the most in alignment with who you are. And no two people on the planet have ever made the exact same. We've done over 1 million of these assessments. So over 1 million people have taken this test, and no two people pick the same word choices. In fact, the chances are like 1 in 10 octillion of two people having the same word choices. So that's one of the things that makes it different than other tests, is that it's completely unique to you. And another is that it's 97% reliable score year over year. So in other words, whenever you take it, you're 97% likely to have, within 3% of the same answers, unlike most of the other tests, which can vary, month to month, depending on where you are in your life.
So this test actually, or assessment, it's not really a test in the concept of test, but this assessment actually allows you to find out what your core innate values are. So once you know that, what is something that can happen for you? How would you use this knowledge to improve your life and your business and all aspects?
That's the most important question. I mean, it's nice to know what makes it different than other tests, but understanding how to actually apply it. Just like, there are many people who are certified in some of these other tests, and they know how to use it with business and helping to get the right person to the right place, which is certainly one of the great uses of the core value index. But more importantly is what you're asking: how do you use it day to day to make your life better? This work is really an extension of Abraham Maslow's work with the hierarchy of needs, self-actualization. So if you're a person who is into personal development or spiritual growth, and you're always trying to be a better person, this is a great tool for you, because what it does is it helps to identify when you're not in the highest and best energy for any given situation, and how to actually shift energies to be the greatest contribution to that situation. So in other words, if you're in a situation where there's an argument, you might be watching somebody else going, you might be observing it, or you might actually be involved in it, and you're starting to feel fear and anxiety around it. You can identify what energy you're in, which is usually your primary energy, and know which energy to shift into to best de-escalate or optimize that situation. Everything that comes up, comes up for a reason, and it's our choices. It's the reactions that we have and how we choose to respond. That's what responsibility is about, is the ability to respond. So this tool gives you a greater ability to respond in the way that is in the best interest of you and everyone else around you.
It's interesting that you brought up responsibility, because randomly, I was doing some research earlier this morning, and this woman's voice comes on, and I was doing something else, and she goes, well, responsibility is the ability to respond, and it's really important. And you're actually bringing that up again. So today's word of the day for daily success is responsibility, your ability to respond. I'm going to claim that. You mentioned the keys to this assessment, the core values index assessment. What were they? They were knowledge, and what were they?
The four core energies are power, and it's not the power of like power over you. This is the inside power that we all have, and it's all power is good when used properly. Love, and again, it's not the love, just the romantic kind of energy, or even the universal. This is a core type of energy that it has very specific nature to it, and responses and everything else around love. But love is it's more than just the healing energy. It's the core type of energy. And then the next one being wisdom, and again, wisdom and knowledge are very different. That's the last one. Knowledge being kind of in the head and knowing how to collect data, but being able to understand where you are with each of those core energies and how much of your innate core energies are in each of those allows you to understand how and also this test can show you where you're spending most of your time, if you're actually in the energies that are the most efficient for you.
So I imagine that when you feel in flow, that's when you're in your core energy, when everything's going great and you feel like everything is moving forward. That's most likely when you're in whichever the core energy is that you feel the most comfortable in.
Or whatever energy is most appropriate for that situation. So I am a dominant love energy. It's anything over 26 is considered profound, and mine is a 31. So that's where I spend 90% of my energy. but that's not always the best place, because it's always going out like what we're doing right now and being able to share. But there are times where I just need to be able to listen, which is my second core energy, and wisdom. And there are times where I need to show up in power. And that's sometimes the one where I need to work most, because I feel like, I want to be in wisdom and I want to listen and I want to get. But there are times where you need, especially in leadership, where power is what's called for. And the same thing with knowledge. It's the lowest of the strengths. I'm not concerned about the facts sometimes so much as, what that means to the overall picture. But there are some times where the facts are incredibly relevant and we really need to be able to gather this information. So knowing how to shift into the energy, when you're able to shift into the energy with ease, into the energy that is most appropriate, that's flow.
Wow, this is a phenomenal gift that you're giving people, the core values index assessment, because if you think about daily success, and that's what I'm really talking about, is how to make each and every day a success for you, for, your business, for your life, for your family, for your divine inspiration, just total, full daily success. So I'm really happy that I invited you, Mark, to participate, because this is probably, of all the gifts that people are giving, this is something that should be like number one on the list. Get this core values index assessment so that you can find out who you are at this level, that is not changing, at the core of who you are, that innate you. Because I know that is one thing. I've taken the tests, and you're absolutely right. Depending on where I was at that moment in time and what I thought how I thought I should answer, and so, if you're thinking about, they're wanting to know if I'm a good salesperson. So you're going to answer in a way that it would make you appear to be a good salesperson, yet it may not be who you are most of the time, where you're operating from. So I can really see the value. And when you mentioned Abraham Maslow's work with self-actualization, I went right back to when I was about 18 years old, and I was doing dual enrollment in high school and college, and I had a class, and we were talking about Abraham Maslow's self-actualization, and I still remember how fascinated I was and how I wanted to know how to get to, beyond survival up to self-actualization. And over the years, I can actually see the journey. So he really was absolutely correct in this platform that people, as they move up, to self-actualization. So that took me back to that time when I first learned about the journey, because I was very young and naive, and it was like, wow, there's a whole lot to this being a human being that I hadn't even realized. So if somebody, obviously they can just easily click on the link and get your core values index assessment right from the site when they watch the video, or from Daily Success. But if somebody wanted to reach out to you and talk to you some more, or get more information, what is the best way for them to do that?
Well, they can just email me directly, mark@markporteous.com, and I will respond there. That's usually the most easy, direct way. They can also catch me on Facebook if that's easier for you as well.
Yeah, a lot of people hang out on Facebook.
I've heard it's kind of a pretty popular spot, but I don't spend a lot of time there. But I do get Facebook Messenger, and so if you
I like Facebook Messenger because it is something that on my computer it kind of just goes boop, pops right up, and I can check it very rapidly and kind of keep a pulse on what's going on in the world. So, Mark, thank you so much for coming and sharing about the core values index assessment, because I of course, because I met you, I became familiar with it. But up until I met you, it was not anything that I was really familiar with. So I understand that it was created by Lynn Taylor, and that he was actually looking at multi-million-dollar corporate turnarounds, and that was how he developed it. So there's quite a foundation in this, with millions of people having taken this assessment. So I would say, wow.
And going back to Lynn Taylor, I'm glad that you brought that up. His background was really in technology. In fact, he was the one who created the original algorithm for Siri, the voice recognition program for Siri. And again, he used his incredible brain in getting the right people into the right place with these big corporate turnarounds. So if you do corporate consulting, or anybody who works with people, really, anybody who's in the coaching industry, and really doesn't matter what industry you're in, you work with people. So I think it's a really great tool, not only to understand more about who you are, but to understand who your client is without even, I mean, you can, anybody can take this test so you can kind of see who they are, but just by understanding the core values index, you can look at something, you can have a better understanding that we are all unique and different. And also being able to understand that the things that you're really strong in, it's important to have other people around that do have some of those other strengths to support you as part of your team.
Well, we could keep talking about this probably for a lot longer, but I want to let you go, and I want everyone to go get the free gift, because again, this is one of those gifts that, you could put number values on it, but really it's priceless, because if you can know who you are at that very core level and the essence of you, it will help you to operate in flow and really have daily success. So again, Mark, thank you so much. Before I let you go, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think one of the big challenges that a lot of entrepreneurs have is really being able to stand in their value, owning who they are, and being able to charge what they're worth. So the process of discovering who you are really does help you to claim your own personal power and your own personal value.
Well, if that isn't daily success, I don't know what is, because when you're able to claim who you are and actually charge the right amount of money for your services and products, that can make the difference between survival and self-actualization, just like Abraham Maslow said. So with that, everyone, go make it a beautiful day and create daily success. This is Tammy Patzer.
You've been listening to Daily Success. Tune in again and subscribe. Never miss a moment of daily success.